we're living in an atheist time because that's what the Western world wants. They want to destroy God. God is an African invention. I'll say it again. The concept of God is an African invention. There's no God in the sky. There's none of that. You are God on earth. In fact, your woman is the true God on this planet. Do you realize that black women hold the genetic memory of every human being on earth? No other woman has that. Do you realize that women in general hold the genetic memory of all of humanity? Men don't hold this. Some men, or put it this way, men have genetic memory, but we can't pass it on to our children. Mothers pass it on from mother to daughter to mother to daughter to mother. You don't think that's just, you think that's just a coincidence that the universe would set it up? That the record of our whole human existence would be in the physical body of women. So when you punch a woman, you're actually harming the physical history of our people. How many black men are dissing their women right now? And that's why I said the Lord led me to say that on stage. I didn't mean to go out like that, but at the end of the day, I'm tired of fucking black men being boys. Respect your woman. Don't just scream, women, because the responsibility of being respected goes a long way. There is no family without the mother, without the mother, without the mother. If you want to fucking pole somewhere, where's your kid at? Yeah, I don't know if you want to hear that shit. Teach. How many of y'all here trying to cheat on your wife right fucking now? Oh, I don't want to hear that shit. You better respect black women. You better respect black women. Like
What are some of the misunderstandings of the Moorish history that our people really need to understand?
Wow, that's vast.
Just going on something.
It's just so vast.
Right.
Because, you know, like, wow. The main thing is people don't know anything about their nationality or birthrights, or that they are a Moor. Or, well, let's start with what is a Moor. You know, that would be the first thing. It's like, what is a Moor? And what is, you know, like they'll say all this stuff about a Moor. I mean, it is the manifestation of the being into the flesh, the being who travels upon the waters of the earth, but first beginning in the waters and also the land of the earth, but beginning in the waters of their mother's womb. See, when you look up the word Moor, it just doesn't mean a noun. It's actually an action. So it means that since man is mind and we're all spirit, and then we come into the flesh, so we travel upon the 7 stages of development in the waters of the mother's womb. That's mooring. Right, and then when we're done, we get cut from the navel, which is navigating L. And then we become navigating L's upon the earth plane. So you start there. So if that was understood and accepted, there would really be no problem, because people say, well, I don't have to be anything to be whatever. Well, I just explained to you what that is. It means that if you came to the womb, then you were mooring, and you were mooring through the 7 stages of the waters and the 7 stages of development in your mother's womb. And then you didn't have to be called anything, because that's just what it is. So those who actually call themselves Moors are actually saying, I'm not anything except that I am, that I am.
I am that I am.
That's really what's being said. So that's the first misunderstanding.
Right.
What about the misunderstanding of Moors being a group?
No.
Or organization, or
No.
a movement or crew? Because many people say, I'm not down with the Moors, or I'm not a Moor. They attribute it to a card-carrying group.
Right. Right. Well, first of all, you know, in all of this, we got at some point get into what Prophet knew what you all did, because that's something to really clear up. But first of all, when people say, I'm not down with the Moors, what are the Moors doing? Well, they need to look at themselves and say, what are you doing? Because you're a Moor, whether you recognize it or not. Again, just giving the explanation of what that is.
From the militant aspect of it, like the militant, the quote unquote, the so-called militant group that's out there, a lot of them seem to can't get with the Moors because they say they are integrationalists. How much
who?
Integrationalists, meaning that y'all don't mind white people being Moors, or white people can come amongst you.
Okay.
Let's talk more about that as well.
Well, the first thing,
because our people still dealing with the black and white issue.
You just answered it. But be honest with you just answered it. They're dealing with the black and white issue, which is absolutely a farce and has nothing to do with these issues. That's the problem. This black and white issue is what was set before them to deal with, to be a diversion. All right. Now I'm gonna tell you what I think about the what you call militant, but they're really the warriors with, I would say, without a cause, because this is the cause. The cause is to protect family. And that starts with mother and the children. But now, as far as this black and white, go back to that because it's important, is that was what was placed in the front. And what we need to recognize is that so-called white people, because we gotta stop. You know what? We're saying that we gotta stop calling ourselves black. But equally, once you understand that, you gotta stop calling these people white. Not just because white is a political status, or white means purity, and purity means God, and God is the ruler of the earth. It's because they're not white people. Period. If it goes for us, it goes for them. Now, their nationality, they gave it up when they came over here to try to take your stuff, your land, your estate. They had to give up their nationality to become a United States of America citizen, which is a corporation. Now, let's get straight with why that's important. If it's a corporation and you are a citizen / member of a corporation, there's nothing for you to be but a employee / servant of a corporation. There's no other nothing there to be. It's no such thing as that. Because the whole deal was to birthright theft. The whole deal was, where's my land that for them? The whole deal was like, this is really the quote-unquote promised land. This is really the quote-unquote heart of civilization. This is really what you might call Northwest Africa. And I say that to people so they can stop saying I'm going back to Africa and understand that they're in it.
This is the Garden of Eden.
It's the Garden of Eden.
That's what they had in Columbus's journal, that they arrived
Absolutely.
in the Garden of Eden.
So what has happened is absolute lies.
Milk and honey.
That's right. And the land of milk and honey is another terminology. So these things are important because as you're doing studies and you read books, well, however old they may be or whatever like that, and if it says the land of milk and honey, you need to know they're talking about the North American continent. If you don't know that, then you miss it. And that's part of our problem. That part of our problem is the miseducation. We have been lied to.
Welcome back, baby. Welcome back. I'm here with my sister, Miss Erykah Badu, whose new album, New America Part 2, Return of the Unk, is in stores right now. Now, Return of the Unk. What's the Unk? Because I like it.
Well, it's a loaded word. It's Unk, to me, is funk without the F. And also, it's this word. It's a word that you can find on the walls of the ancient hieroglyphics in Kemet. Kemet is the original name for Egypt. Kemet means land of black faces. This word means life. This round portion represents the womb of the woman. These two portions represent the fallopian tubes or the children. And this is the male principle or the birth canal. And altogether, that's eternal life. It's life. It's ever flowing. And it means also evolution.
I absolutely dig it. See, I be listening to it so much, I forget that I'm supposed to be saying something again, because I get so caught up in it, I'll be like,
I come from Burkina Faso. It's one of the tiniest countries in Africa. It's not so big. It's a landlocked country, and it's French-speaking, so it's not well known in America. In this country, there are about 60 tribes speaking as many languages without the dialect sometimes, which sounds like Spanish and French. And in the southwestern part of this country lived a tribe called the Dagra tribe. And that is my tribe where I'm from. And my community is very varied in the sense that the people do not consider themselves isolated from the rest of the community. That basically means that if you are a child in such a community, you are a community child. So you learn to actually grow up with many mothers and many fathers. And for a crazy child like myself, it was actually heaven, in a sense that I can pick a mom for a day and ignore everybody else. And it was just perfect and welcome because they saw it that, as a way for me to get my needs met. Now, the flip side of that is that when you do something bad, you have to answer to all those people that. And so growing up in this situation basically meant that you have to be very flexible. So that if you're not hearing what one person is saying, you might have to go to 10 different people until you actually hear what they're trying to communicate to you. And so I basically grew up in this environment where the houses are built with mud and nicely polished with cow dung and ash, where the children growing up have their room, the women had their room, and the men had their room also. It's not to promote gender differences or sexism, but it is actually a way for children to be able to meet their need and for women to be able to meet their need, for men as well. And then they would come together. So men and women often will come together, but if you see spouses getting together, it's always in a sacred space. Maybe I'll get to that, we'll see. And so in my tradition, it is customary that when a woman is pregnant, that they do a ritual called a hearing ritual, just like you hear, a hearing ritual. And the purpose of a hearing ritual is to basically listen to the incoming baby, to find out who they are, why they're coming at this time, and what is their purpose, basically. What are some of the things they like, dislike? What are the things that the living can do in order to prepare the space for this person? And based on the information they get, the child name is then given. And upon getting the name, the elder have to hold it until after birth. 4 weeks after the birth, the naming for a baby girl would take place, and 3 weeks after birth, the baby boy would be named. And in the Dagra tradition, you own your name up until the age of 5. After the age of 5, your name owns you. Yes, you find it funny. Because your name is an energy. Your name has a life force. It can create an umbrella under which you live. And so the kind of name you give to your child would determine what kind of trouble they will get themselves into. Once the name is given to you, then the people make sure that whatever you're doing fits with your purpose. And when you then become a teenager, and you know when we all become teenagers, we have a tendency to want to fight to gain our own authenticity, our own self, our own whatever it is that we're looking for. And that is often seen as welcomed opportunities for the elders, because it is only a sign that you are ready to go through initiation. You are now ready to take on more responsibilities. So when you go through initiation, you come back out and you have to go through mentoring, because going through initiation is basically like this. Someone takes your life into thousands of pieces and then throw them all up in the air and then say, now, find the pieces. But mind you that the pieces are not supposed to be exactly the way they were before. If they are, then there's something wrong. So the pieces have to be different. And that is the role of a mentor. So each time you want to pick a piece that fitted where it was before to guide you in a different direction. What if you put it here? What would happen? You start to think, that would be interesting. Well, let's explore that interesting thing in this. And so you start to realize that major challenges that you have gone through in your life are initiation forms. And those initiation forms are there to basically help you take the next course in life. And if you do not take those courses in life, basically something in you dies. And yet the purpose of initiation is to get you to get those things to die so you can get the new skin on. Just like a lizard, growing up, shedding those skins and taking on something. So you don't want to put the old skin back because it wouldn't fit. And if you do succeed in putting it back, it means that you are going to be forced to repeat whatever experience you went through over again. And we know that we don't want to do some of those things.
Complain about the things that we always worry about are insignificant compared to the bigger things in life and what's really important in life.
Yeah, and how much more connected we are than we think. There's a lot more similarities, that's the thing with everything from HIV/AIDS to education gaps to cyclical violence in the home. It's that thing, 1 in 3 women will be raped, killed, or beaten in her lifetime. That's 1 billion people at the very least on the planet, more than 1 billion people on the planet. And each one of those people, unfortunately, almost all the time think that it's only happening to them. And it's so insular. And the second you can tell your story and open up outside of that, you have this connection that goes beyond. And suddenly these problems that seemed insurmountable can be achieved, that can be overcome because there's people who've gone through it before you.
Exactly.
And actually it's such a relief to go, I don't have to figure this out a whole 100% by myself. There's other people here. We're all trying to figure it out, and let's make it as easy as possible for us. We're all human beings.
We're all one energy, and where we take it and what we make of it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Let me ask you.
So go ahead.
All right, 3. I'll cut them down.
Okay.
What motivates you more, fear or love?
Love.
And why?
Love. It's interesting, actually. When I remember seeing that, I thought maybe fear, because it's one of the things, when you look at it, is it the stick or the carrot that really kind of gets you? And, I think I'm very motivated by the stick. I like, and I take it on as pressure, I'll wait to the last minute to do something, and then it's like, argh! But the reality is, what I do with my activism, what I do with my acting, what I do with everything else, with my connections with my family, the things that get me out of bed is love. I love my family. I love my friends. I love the people that I've grown up. I love being a human being. I love being alive. I think it's just remarkable. I think this is we get to do this all the time. It's really, really cool. And all of the stories that I've witnessed and all the time I want to live different lives. It seems like all of them are so interesting. I will never know what it's like to just be in one small town forever for the rest of my life. There's something so beautiful about that. I was looking through this book, and there was this woman, her brother and sister, and they were both in their 80s, going into their 90s. They were living in their same house that they were both born in. They grow and make most of the food that they eat off of. And it's just such a remarkable idea. And you see their faces and the energy and how happy, and there's just something so beautiful about that. And I have a totally different perspective. So all I do is travel and all these other things. And it's just, I love all of it, And I hope that it is true that we have multiple lives and that we get to do all of it, because it'd suck to think about that we only get one shot.
I know. I'm afraid of that many times. And that's what drives me, is that fear of not knowing what happens, just making the most out of it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 2 more questions. I'll make it really short. Yep. You're definitely right about
magic.
that. Yep.
No, it is. And I'm a kind of science geek and stuff like that. And it's just
quantum physics.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And the idea of if we keep going half distance to each other, we'll never reach. There's an infinity between us.
Exactly.
I love these different concepts and ideas, and I love how we can think about the world around us. And I love that at the end of it, we'll still not know what we don't know. more than anything.
And I think that's what makes it worthwhile. That's what makes it amazing. Have you ever
much
seen
science is created? We'll never know what magic it is that makes two cells want to divide, makes a cell want to divide and create a human being. We'll never know that. Doesn't matter. There's magic. Why do we lose a bit of weight when someone dies? What is that? When I touched my grandmother after she passed and she suddenly wasn't there. She was there, but she wasn't there. And I'll never know her again. But I feel her. Yeah. And it's an amazing thing. There's this magic that exists in the planet that is just so palpable. And it's sad when we turn away from that, because I think we miss out on something remarkable about being a human being when we reject that.
Yeah, society and mainstream media puts all these insecurities about us, about how we're supposed to look and all this, and a lot of people feel down. But in reality, I think all of our differences makes us beautiful. And
I always tell people when they're like, oh, I'm flat-chested and I only have a big butt. I'm like, go to Brazil, you'll be the most stunning human being on the planet. I was invisible.
Exactly.
It's like, just don't. You get so dejected and you can feel so small and insecure depending on where you are. And it's like the world's a big place. There are billions of people on the planet. Go and meet a few of them.
Exactly.
It's kind of awesome.
All right, two more. Okay. Sorry. Do you trust the government?
Do I trust the government? That's such a strange. I remember that question coming up as kind of strange. Like, what does that really mean? Do I trust the government to what? I trust the government to be exactly what it is. It's it's composed of human beings, and human beings are corrupt, and that's just a reality, and we're vulnerable, and we're not perfect, but I understand what governance is, and in order to live as a huge society of people and have rights and have access to things that we need in a civil world that we are existing in today, where technology has far surpassed us in so many ways, we need government, and it is composed of us, so it's only as great as we are and our participation in it. So that's why I think I do what I do with Voto Latino, because I don't always agree with government, but I believe in it.
Last question that was in the video. What is the meaning of life?
What is the meaning of life? This is terrible. As many times as I've watched this, I don't know why I'm surprised by this question. What is the meaning of life for this for me?
Or we could come back.
Yeah. What's the meaning of life for me? It's an interesting thing. The meaning of life to me is learning. It's growing, literally. It's evolving and changing. It's the whole cradle to cradle thing. It's the fact that we're literally, I remember going to see someone in Mexico when we were shooting Chavez, and we were at where's America? We went to what do they call that for seeing the stars? I want to keep having auditorium in my head, which is the wrong word. Starts with a P, I think. Do you want me to grab her? Planetarium. Thank you. Yeah, I'm like auditorium. So but we're at a planetarium. We're looking at this, and it's he's showing us a star, and he's talking to us, and he's going, and scientifically we've discovered that we are composed of 3 stars. The makeup of each individual star times 3 is in each individual human being. And the fact that we're that interconnected, the fact that we're literally, like you listen to that Paul Hawkins commencement speech, and he's like, as Einstein said, if the stars only came out once every 100 years, we'd step outside in awe and adulation. But instead, they come out every day, and we watch TV instead. And we ignore it. And it's like that to me. That's that magic. For me, the meaning of life is that magic, and discovering it and being a part of it, and finding urgency when you need it, and relaxing and just laying about and enjoying the sun and a nice breeze and a nap and the smell of a beautiful rose also when you need it. And sometimes it's that frustration when you get cut off in traffic, and sometimes it's when you're connected to everything and beyond. It's just this remarkable experience of being aware and being unsure, because it's so mysterious, and that to me is something that I'm always trying to balance out in my life. Being here, being effective and of purpose, and of connection to people, and also just recognizing that just being here automatically is that. If I did nothing and died and turned back to dust and food for the planet, that's still what it is. A plant is no less valuable because it doesn't have a conversation. Trees that are here for thousands of years, and all of it, the ocean, all of it. It's just so remarkable to me. So that to me is the meaning of life, is just connecting to that. And I think we have that as babies. We have that as children, when we're just like in awe and excitement and creativity, and just everything is magic and exciting, and we forget that as we get closed-minded and go, I have to make this much money, and I have to achieve this, and this is what's important. And then it's like when my grandmother was afterwards, and I talked to her about politics, and she'd get really excited about it. But at the end of the day, she was like, I live in Southern Living Lane in Conway, South Carolina, and that's really sweet, darling. Let me know how that goes for you. I'll be here. And just understand, you know, I raised 5 kids, and I'm gonna enjoy a different experience. And it's just having all of it. If I can have that in my life, I can live long enough to have just a taste of all of those different types of things. I think that would be way worthwhile.
Beautifully well said. It's everything I was thinking. Thank you so much for promoting that video. I really appreciate it very much. Thank you.
I do it all the time.
And Sinead's with us now. Morning, Sinead. How are you doing?
I'm good. I don't remember that hair.
It was great hair though.
With you, your hair's either long or short. It's never betwixt or between,
I think
is
that
it?
must have been a wig.
I've got a question for you though, but the cover of the new album there, which you can see there, which is surprising for you, really. What were you saying with that? Because there you are in. Is that? It's sort of leather.
It's actually
leather
latex.
sort of stuff.
Yeah, the
Latex,
lady who made the dress keeps getting upset because everybody keeps saying it's PVC. Really, it was just publicity, to be honest. I knew that nobody had ever seen me looking like a female, do you know what I mean? Nobody ever saw me really looking like a girl, so I knew it wasn't meant to be the album cover, but I knew if I put out a couple of shots with hair and a dress and everything, everybody would run them and they'd have to talk about the album, you know. But the album's not a blues album, just to clear up a misunderstanding. The songwriting perhaps behind the album is inspired by Chicago blues, but it's not at all a blues album. It's more that I spent the last 2.5 years really listening to a lot of Chicago blues and watching a lot of what the guys had to say about songwriting. In particular, there's a guy called Willie Dixon who wrote nearly every blues song that you can think of. Also Chuck Berry and a couple of people like that, Buddy Guy also. They kind of left songwriting lessons, and the thing is, everything we know as rock and roll came from blues. So if you can get the kind of blues pattern of songwriting into your head, you can translate that to any style of music. So that's pretty much what I hope I've done. So it's a pop rock record. It doesn't sound remotely blues, but perhaps the style of songwriting is inspired by it.
How does that happen? How do you, because it does sound more poppy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How do you get to that from those roots?
It's really easy peasy. I mean, the thing is that really, you know, genuinely all what we know as rock and pop music came from blues. When you trace it back, its history came from blues, and in its time, blues was pretty much like rap, insofar as it had the same format, which meant anybody could write a song. It wasn't too complicated. It was 12 bars. You had 3 verses. The first 3 lines were the same. The last line was different. You had a bridge, so anybody could do it, you know. But yeah, when you trace back rock and pop, you end up back at blues. So it's really, it's very. I always say if you could describe music or talk about music, you wouldn't need music. So it's very hard to describe how you could translate it. But if you listen to any style of music that we know, you know, as rock and pop, you'll trace it back to blues. You know. So.
Let's have a listen.
Hello and welcome. She's one of 35 Pekingese in Thailand, you know, having served her life in monkhood for a number of years. And she also is a writer of so many books, and her books touch upon many aspects of, you know, monkhood, Buddhist monkhoods, and especially a history of Pekingese in this country. With me in the studio right now is Venerable Tamadata Bhikkhuni. Welcome to the studio, Venerable. Yeah. I know that you are writing a new book on a history of Thai Pekingese in Thailand. Perhaps can you tell us about the story?
Yes, you know, I studied about Bhikkhuni for my thesis, from my master thesis as well as my PhD thesis. And then in 1983, I was invited by Harvard University just to answer what is the future of the Bhikkhuni in Thailand.
Right.
So, but I didn't realize that that was really my turning point. Before that, I was hiding behind what you call this ivory tower of academics. Studied, researched about Bhikkhunis, but did not make any move.
Yeah.
That particular conference focused on women, religion, and social changes. It really questioned me that if you are only academics and if you're not bringing about social changes in your own action, what good is there for you to know all these informations, you know? So that was the year that I really turned from being only activist turned from being academic to activist. Then I started out this newsletter, connecting Buddhist women working in different corners of the world. And it continued on even up till now. That time I didn't know that I was going to commit my life as a fully ordained monk, as you said. But then the focal point of my commitment came after that 1983. That conference. And then once when I was ordained, lots of issues coming up, and through the newsletter I was connecting with so many other Bhikkhunis in other countries, and it dawned upon me that we have to write our own history. We have to write our own history.
Is this going to be the first book on
the
Bhikkhunis in Thailand?
Yes, I hope that it's not only Bhikkhunis in Thailand, but also in other countries, as we are just sprouting up like mushroom, in so many countries now. And we need to keep in touch with this information. Every year is changing. Like this year, for example, we boast of having 78 Bhikkhunis and Samaneris in one place. That is a large number, So this book, History of Bhikkhunis in Thailand, is very important. Very important that we should bring it out. Not only for Bhikkhunis in Thailand, but actually history of Bhikkhunis. From the Buddha's time, and then it kind of lost its way, and now it's returning. Yes, in so many countries.
What can you tell us about the situation of Thai Bhikkhunis in this country? What's the situation?
This is already the second phase. Second phase, this is my 12th year now. So as I step out, people were watching my movement, and now more and more women are confirmed that it's all right to be ordained. So they watch me going to Sri Lanka for ordination, so they follow the same way. So they also went out to Sri Lanka, receive ordination, come back, and establish themselves in their own nunneries, in their own temples. Small number, but we are spreading out. At least now we are in 10 provinces.
When we talk about Buddhism in this country, I think is a male bastion. But as a female monk or bhikkhuni, as we call it, how hard it is to become one in this country, from your own perspective?
I think if we really have understood the teaching of Buddhism, it's not hard. I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing my thing as a bhikkhuni. We are expected to get up early, do morning chanting, meditation. We go out for alms, meeting people in the village, and people are very happy. People are so overjoyed, and the amount of food that we received, it was impossible. I could not imagine. It was getting more and more. At that time, I was alone. I had just one shoulder bag and just 2 girls walking behind me. Now they have to come with carriage with so much food. So we can feed, like on Sunday, we can feed about 40 people.
And doing it with Yuri-chan. Hi. I saw some people ask me to do some video about asking Japanese people their opinion on certain things. So Yuri-chan is here, so I'm going to ask her some few questions. インタビューをしてみていいですか？
何のインタビュー？
いろいろ質問から。
日本語で？
はい、日本語で。
オッケー。
はい。はい。1番、外人が、
はい、
どう思いますか？
外人ですか？外人は私は別に留学生たくさん見てきたから何も思わない感じで。
Her school is like a school that has a lot of international students and a lot of exchange students, and she sees them all the time and talks to them all the time, and she sees me and talks to me all the time, so she doesn't have any specific thoughts. ゆりちゃん。
はい。
私は黒人外人です。
はい。
私の専攻は日本語。私は日本語勉強しているとか、日本語の文化大好きから、なんか 外人のみんながちょっとびっくりした。びっくりした。もうちょっと日本人のみんなもちょっとびっくりした。私は黒人だからちょっと変ですね。
そんな経験があった？
だから、ゆりちゃんの思い出。
ゆりちゃんの考え？
ゆりちゃんの考え
思い
どう思いますか？
スーザンちゃんみたいな黒人さんに対しての？
はい。
私は別に何も思わないの。なんか普通に白人も黒人も別に何も思わなくて、私もなんていうの、黄色人種、黄色い人種やから別に何も思わない。特になんかでもスーザンちゃん見た時は綺麗な人って普通に思ったよ。
私？ありがとう。
黒人さんとは黒人さんも見たらわかるけど、でもそれに対して何も抵抗はなかった。
じゃあでも日本で黒人いっぱいいますか？
黒人さんいるよ。白人さんの方が少ないんじゃない？でも黒人さんもいるよ。たくさんいる。でもびっくりする人もおるかもしれへん。でもそれは外国人としてびっくりしてるだけで、別に黒人としてびっくりしてるわけではないと思う。
So I asked her, the first question I asked her is, what does she think about me being a black foreigner whose major is Japanese and is studying Japanese language and culture? And she has good thoughts about it, of course, because I am beautiful. No. Because as long as you show interest in the culture and you're not maybe rude, then I think all people, not just Japanese people, but wherever you go, will appreciate you if you show interest in their culture. じゃあ後でsometimes ね、日本人は本当に静かな。静かな。だから外人の考えが日本人 too shy、こういう感じですね。じゃあ外人からもし日本人話したい、どうするですか？
それはでも日本人は最初はすごいシャイでも心を開いて、たくさん会話をゆっくり会話していくとすごい仲良くなる。私たちもそうよ、スーザンちゃんと。私も最初スーザンちゃんにちょっとどうしよう恥ずかしいってなってたけどでも今はもう大丈夫やから。
だからもし外人日本人と話したいとき、外人は Hello, nice to meet you でいい感じ？
いいよ。いっぱい話してあげて、いっぱいもうあなたのことを知りたいって言ってくれたら、日本人も心が開くから。そう。
Sometimes a lot of foreigners think that Japanese are really shy, and actually a lot of Japanese are really shy. So if a foreigner wants to become friends with a Japanese person, what should they do? How can they do it? And she said that Japanese, maybe they're shy, but on the inside, they really want to talk to you. But maybe they're not so confident about their English speaking abilities. So maybe a foreigner should approach a Japanese person first and see, just, hi, how are you? Not koikanji. Approach the person first. Some Japanese will approach. Will some approach? Okay, no, not as much. So you should approach them first and just be yasashi and open-minded. 心開く。英語上手。優しくて心。
誰が？私が？日本人が？日本人が優しくしたら心を開く。
So if they're just gonna be kind and open-minded.
いっぱいコミュニケーションしてあげたら。
And then you can have a lot of conversation. Just be open-minded and kind, and conversation will naturally flow, and you'll become friends. Because when I first met her, were you shy? Maybe, but I think all of my Japanese friends, every one of them, when I first met them, was really shy. I had to approach them first. But after that, even though maybe you are from a different place or you speak different languages, you notice that you have similar things in common, and it's not so hard to be friends anymore. So you just have to approach them. If you want to make friends, you have to make an effort. anybody, not just Japanese, but anybody. You have to make an effort if you want to make friends. ゆりちゃん、
はい。
アニメと漫画と好きですか？
なんでなんでなんで？
アニメ
好きよ。
漫画
も好きよ。好き。
アニメが何が一番大好きですか？
私はアニメは結構何でも好きやけど、あそこにもあるけどテニスのおじさまが好き。
ゆりちゃん favorite anime or manga?
アニメも漫画もあるよ。
本当に？
うん。
じゃあ2つ？
2つあるよ。
It's her favorite anime and manga. What's it called? テニス。
ブリッジも面白い。
お名前？このアニメ。テニスの
王子様。
テニスの王子様。
うん。
うわ。Okay, so she likes anime and she likes manga, and I just showed you her favorite anime and manga. If you have other things you want to know, you let me know, and I will ask her. Okay, that's it. じゃあこのインタビュー終わります。ありがとうございました、ゆりちゃん。じゃあ皆さん、バイバイ、またね。See you later. Bye.
Different ways to do that, whether they be big or small. And so I was just wondering, what are some of the things that you do to participate in self-care?
Big Daddy leave the room because I'm telling people. Because he'll tell you, he'll say I'm lying now. I take care of myself, I think, quite well. See, look at him. I think I get good rest. You know, when you fighting, sis, you know, because I know, I feel it in my heart, up under just the soles of my feet that Allah has me on purpose. It's not a job for me. Coming out here and talking to my Muslims and my mu'mins, my sisters, my brothers, it's not a job for me. This is purpose, and I'm grateful to do it 5 years after the documentary. I'm as grateful as to see you as you are to see me. Trust and know that. So, for me, you know, I sleep when I'm dead. Rest as I can. When I need to go get these locks tightened up, I have somebody go and, you know, rub on my locks and, you know, you know, alhamdulillah. You know, zikr Allah is my, that's it. That's it. I, you know, remembering Allah and everything that I do, no matter what. Even I try to, I'm working on, I need you all to make dua for me. My creative expression of what may roll off this tongue of mine at any given time. But it's about getting my point across so you can feel exactly what I'm not a spoken word, I'm not a poet. I don't know how to do all of that. I don't know none of that. All I know is that when you on purpose, Allah gives you, when you tired, it give you that push to get you up that hill, to get down that hill, to go back up that next hill. So, you know, there's just different personal things that I got going on with me, you know, like you got that smoking cut and, you know, and you take care of that but locks, you guys, you all may call them dreadlocks. I ain't nothing dreadful about my locks, so it burns me up when I hear somebody talk about, he got dreadlocks, he growing dreadlocks. It ain't nothing dreadful about my hair, I have locks. For those that want to visualize what's going on up under this production that we have called the gym. It is, once you take it off, it's a big production. So, you know, I do that and, you know, and stay in remembrance of Allah. That's it. I can't live no other way. And Allah takes care of me and opens up when it's time for me to rest, you know, make things kind of slow out there on the blocks because I feel sometimes if I'm not there, some stuff may jump off, or, you know, so, you know, Allah knows best. So just as you go into your journey, You ask Allah what it is that you need to do and how you need to cleanse and draw and how you know, how you need to cleanse yourself and how you need to draw things to you. And that's it. That's all. That's how it works for me. Next question. Is this it? That baby, all y'all got. Let me see your phone. As many pictures of that thing in your phone as she does. What is it, sister? What can I do for you?
I have a question about the hijab and being like a strong active woman, you know, especially on the streets. Does your hijab ever make it hard for you to go out and do what you do? And do you ever like feel like, you know, maybe prejudice or people don't listen to your voice as much just because they see the hijab?
Not at all. What, we family, right? So we can real talk, right? We've been doing that for about an hour, right? Okay, so going back to purpose, going back to knowing, you know, really for real in your heart, when you're taking your steps to do what you need to do, to wrap your head to why the reason, why the prophet, you know, why Allah gave it to the prophet to give to, it was specifically for his wives, so they can make distinction. But then as we grew into the deen, it was for sisters strictly choice, if we choose to. But to understand really why that surah came out of why we should cover and the power that Allah gives to sisters, like Sister Khadijah, may Allah be pleased with her. Sister Rikaya, may Allah be pleased with her. You understand what I'm saying? You know where I'm going with this, right? So when I rock my hijab, I feel like I got the sword of the prophet, double edged. So I have to be very mindful and very careful of how I behave myself out there in what some people may say, dunya, you know? So what really aggravates me, it's not from the hood, it's not from our kids, it's not from that, it's not. It's from our brothers and sisters that have come over from the Middle East. That bugs me. That have come over. I mean, it just gets up under my soul where I have to, you know, when I walk into one of their establishments, don't get me wrong, it's not all of them. But I'm talking about the ones that's over in Inglewood and high-risk areas that, you know, they playing with these little young guys, and then the next minute they're giving them a pop and saying you can have it with brothers, and then the next minute the brothers is taking the pop and then they're calling the police on them and then they're calling them niggas. You understand what I'm saying? You all understand what I'm saying, right? So that's what bugs me. When I'm walking in one of those establishments of one of our brothers that was blessed to get up out of one of the most holiest countries where our prophets walked and established, may it be the Quran, the Torah, or the Bible, may it be any of those. They come over here and say they're in the belly of the beast. And they mistreat our brothers and sisters, and then they ask me, am I Muslim? And you know damn well I look like your sister, your mother, or one of your distant cousins. You know what I'm saying? If I'm dark and a little, so don't play with me. Don't play with me. If you're going to come in our communities, you know, you come in our communities to get ease. You come in our communities to educate about the deen, if you remember. See, that's what bugs me about when I rock my hijab. It's not the brothers and sisters. I feel like I got, you know, when I'm out there in the streets, I love them. But when I'm going into different places where I distance brothers and sisters from the Middle East or anywhere that, you know, and they feel like they can disrespect, and then they play it and try it with me, we ain't having it, because you'll never see me without my sword. Never.
Campaign, you know, and you know, the We Are Here campaign, and I was reading about it, and you know, how it got started. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And I want our citizens to chime in. You want to talk with Alicia Keys as well.
Yeah, definitely do that.
And I read a story that this was kind of fueled because someone sat down and asked you about what is your existence all about?
Yeah, no, I was just sitting with a group of friends and we were having like a great conversation. And at one point in the conversation, one of the people were like, asked everyone there, why are you here?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously it wasn't like the why are you here? Like I didn't invite you to come to my house. Why are you here? It was like the why are you here on earth? Like what is your purpose? What is your gift to leave? And I was like, whoa, I had never been asked that question directly like that ever before. And I consider myself a person who might potentially think of that answer or ponder that answer in some form or fashion. But I'd never been asked that question. And so that set me on this whole, like, everywhere I went back to the studio because we've been working on the record and everything. And everywhere I went, I'd be like, yo, somebody just asked me, why was I here? Why are you here? And I started asking everybody. So we'd have sessions in the studio and everybody building about why they're here and things like that. And so this is how this song started to germinate and come together. And so one of my homeboys, because there's 4 of us working on the record, myself, Swiss, Mark Batson, and Harold Lilly, who are, you know, I've worked in different increments in my life before, and it's like a stupid team. The team is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But Mark was like, man, I had this dream that actually answered that question. It was something very interesting. So, but nonetheless, it started to really provoke this like conversation. And on the back of that, everything I think that we're seeing everywhere in the news and social media and everywhere that we look, and just really recognizing what's happening in the world. And I mean, there's none of us, I can't say we're not affected by it in some way. Like everything that's going on is just some type of form of outrageousness, right?
Yeah.
So we're all looking at each other like, what's happening? You know, that was like, obviously, you know, Ferguson was going on at the,
When that happened, where were you? Like, what did you think? Because people think when you become Alicia Keys and these things happen, I'm just using you as an example.
Yeah, that's fine.
That someone, a celebrity, so to speak, or someone who's well off, they detach themselves from those type of incidents. What went on in your mind?
Well, I mean, some people might detach themselves from many things, you know what I mean? But me and my family, you know, like anybody else, there's no escaping what's going on around us. There's no escaping what's going on in Nigeria. There's no escaping what's going on in Gaza and Syria and Israel and Palestine. And there's no escaping what's happening in Ferguson or what's happening over the 4th of July weekend in Chicago. There's no escaping what's going on when you live in the world. You can't help it. You know what I mean? You see it and you're a part of it. And I think we all feel really confused. You know, we feel outraged by it. We definitely feel confused. We feel frustrated. And I think we all wonder what is it what we can do. Which is the thing that hit me the most, because when people would talk about it or we'd be watching the news or whatever, when all like just in the group with your homies or whatever, you know, one of the things that I hear people say is like, okay, so all of us are on the street, we're all protesting out there, but what's that going to do? And that broke my heart, man.
Yeah.
That made me feel crazy, because I was like, wow, we really feel like that. We really feel like there's nothing we can do. Like, even if we figure a way to organize ourselves and bring ourselves in one great group of people, that's not going to change the things that are going on in the world. And so that's really where the We Are Here movement began, because I was like, nah, man, we can't just be sitting here saying that like we can't do that. Like, that can't be our answer.
Yeah.
And I know that we're here for so much more than all these things, right? So that's why I said, you know, we started brainstorming this idea, and that's what turned into WeAreHereMovement.com, where it's just basically a place where we can gather all of our voices. It's a place where the voices can be gathered, and so we can say, okay, here's my name, I'm from Chicago. Here's my name, I'm from Istanbul. Here's my name, here's wherever I'm from, and I want to be part of this peace army, you know. And so now this movement and WeAreHereMovement.com can gather these voices, aggregate these voices, and allow us to approach our leaders, allow us to demand the change we want, sign petitions, create rallies, protests, whatever it is that move the energy forward for things that we're experiencing, and also educate ourselves, because we need to know what's happening. We know kind of like the bigger picture or the broader or the kind of the popular thought or whatever, but like what's really happening? Where did it stem from? Where did it come from? And so that's really the energy behind the We Are Here movement. It's really simple. But it's just direct action, because we want to have direct action. It's not like we want to sit there and look at the news and be like, life is screwed. No, we want to do something, and we want to stand up for the things that we feel are incorrect. But how do you do it? Who do you trust? Where do you go? How do you motivate? So we can't do it by ourselves. So it's not about me, it's about we and how we can do this together. And that's what WeAreHereMovement.com is about.
Mm-hmm. But thank you, because you have, 35 million Facebook followers, 20 million Twitter followers. You don't have to do it. You know what I mean? And you people who think we can't make change through action.
It's true.
Well, that's a part of the wool over your eyes to make you believe that. Basically, you're saying there's no hope.
Yeah, they won. They won if we thinking that. They won.
They won.
No.
But we can't let them win. And it's so important because whether, Tracy was bringing this up earlier, whether we realize it or not, on every level, whatever level you are, people, we're leaders.
Yes.
We're put in the position, we're natural leaders now. You got 35 million people following you on Facebook. They're not following you because they don't care about what you think or what you do.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean? I don't know how many. I might got about 10,000 followers on Facebook, but still.
That's 10,000 people.
I'm in there, Alicia. I got 10K.
Yes, baby. Yes.
I got 10K. Come on, man.
Count them up.
All right, we're going to open.
Thank you all, but it's not that necessary. I'm so grateful to see you here. That in and of itself really is quite enough. The fact that you would be all united at one purpose for this one thing is quite important. I have to say this. I am a Christian. I am a product of the redemption of Christ Jesus. I need to tell you that. I'm not ashamed of it. It's not old-fashioned. It's what's new and vibrant in my life. So I want you to know that. So, and the other thing I want to tell you is that everything else that I'm about to tell you is because of God's glory, all right? It's not because of anything that I've done. It's because of God's glory. So for me, I believe, let me tell you this also, in the Black Panther Party, we failed because we took God out. I beg you not to do the same thing. If you take God out, precious babies, you're not going anywhere except to jail. You're going to be killed, and you're going to stay angry, all right? So, Lord, thank you for your forgiveness. Thank you for giving me for all of my sins. I have stood on stages in America, and I have asked young people if they didn't want, their parents didn't like the Black Panther Party, kill your mom and your daddy. Let me tell you that. God has forgiven me, okay? So I don't play around with any of this. To see you all organized is a great thing, but I've seen many organizations and many mass movements. It has to be something else besides what I'm against. I've heard a lot of what I'm against. I don't like this and I don't like that and I hate this. But my God, what are you for? What are you for? What are you individually? I'm not talking about the group. I'm not talking about your organization. Oh no, I am living witness. You must make these decisions. And when you make them, hear me now, be prepared for the consequence. Not your sister, you, okay? Or don't make them. I'm not that impressed till I see the work. All right? I want to tell you something. When I was in both the Black Panther Party and I was in the RNA, I've been in everything, been every religion that black people have been in their sojourn from Africa. I have been every single one of them. When I was in the Black Panther Party, we said we wanted 40 acres and a mule. How many people you know with 40 acres and a mule? I just want to say it because I want you to ask somebody that you know. Where is your land? I'm talking about the ones that's got $2 or $3. They got some money. Don't act like all of us is poor. Where is that 40 acres? If you want that, you got to show that to me by not somebody else's actions, by whose actions? Yours. How committed are you to the dream, and what is that dream you're committed to? How many people are in this place? I'll just say I don't count well, so don't worry about them, get it wrong. I'll say 1,500, that's wrong, I know. But if it's 1,500 people in here, there are 1,500 dreams. You all need to know that. As you mass together and think that everyone is doing it for the same reason, I don't believe so. I could tell you that that is not so. Require something from people. Require something from your leaders. Require morals and ethics. Make it a requirement. Because if you're gonna follow somebody somewhere, you ought to know it's somebody of substance, shouldn't you? Because that's what we've done, you know that. We pretending we didn't because today is King's Day. So we're gonna pretend that we ain't been following a lot of people that have not had our interest at heart. We're gonna pretend that we haven't done that. It's all right to pretend sometimes. But take 5 minutes out and tell the truth to you. Tell you the truth. Because then we can get someplace. You understand? That is more important than anything. Okay. I also want, I'm going to be finished in a minute because I ain't got nothing but a bunch of things to say. Okay? Just a bunch of things to say. April 4th, 1968, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King was murdered in this place. That started something in this country. April 2nd, 1969, 363 days later, 21 Black Panthers were arrested in New York City. 1 year later. So the other day, I just celebrated 39 years of my arrest. And where did I celebrate it at? Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech. Yes! There's so much healing to be done in our places. And I don't know whose community we mean when we say our, but for me, our is the world. I don't do things on color no more. I don't do them on color no more. And I tell you why I don't. I just told you, you got to stand for something. When I was in the Black Panther Party, Rwanda had not happened. It had not happened. So I was still believing, like most used to be Pan-Africanists, that, my God, the joy is for us to all unite as Africans. We can unite Africa and we can do something great because it's a great, massive continent. And we're great people and we're good people and mothers and kings and queens. And my God, look at what the kings did. Are we going to look? If we don't look today, we're going to have to look again tomorrow. And where are the women? Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Where are the women? Where are your stories? You all tell those stories. Find them stories and tell them. They don't have to be cute. If you don't do it, we will be erased. Already these young people don't know that we stood mighty. They already don't know that if it hadn't been for the women, it wouldn't have been no Black Panther Party. They already don't know that. They already think that men did it. They already believe it. You gotta put it into the line. And if you don't do that, we can't move forward in anything. So that's all I'm doing, is trying to share with you what I've learned over my life. Over my life. I want to share with you that in Lumberton, North Carolina, where not only was I born, but my mother was born. My grandmother was born. My great-grandmother was born. And my great-great-grandmother was born. In the county of Robeson, we have 56 acres of land. We have 17 acres of organic land. And we are selling crops organically. We have cows and we have chickens. Because I was serious about mine. And if you're serious about it, that's what you'll do. So I'm not saying that to brag. No, I'm saying that because if you don't have the 56, if you don't have the 17, I need you to get down with us. You talking about you got some organ that won't do something? You ought to be doing something connected to some land. It can't be no idea by itself, preciouses. Don't it? You know it. I come from the South Bronx, baby. I organize tenants there. I know about this. We got to have land. We got to have ground. And we can't just have jobs. What else must we have? Can we please beg y'all, when y'all talking about all them jobs, I'm not interested in them. I don't care if you don't get but 10. You know what I want you to get? I want you to get some executive courses. I want you to teach my people how to run businesses. Because let me tell you what I know. You don't have to have a degree to run a business. Oh, no, you don't. I am a high school dropout. I'm not bragging about it. But I want you to know this. There is no reason why we got to be talking all the time about jobs instead of about companies. Why not? Can we please dream big? We were doing jobs back then. Let's dream big. That's all I'm asking.